Thank you very much for tuning in to the Dallas Design Sprints podcast. I am Robert Scrobe. On today's show, we're featuring Mihai Bilea. He is the co-founder and UX rocker at UX.Rocks. He's a design sprint facilitator and trainer, and he's based out of Romania. We have an involved conversation about what he's doing at Optymyze, his background in user experience and user interface design, and what he's looking forward to doing this year with his company. Hope you enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Mihai, thank you very much for coming on to the Dallas Design Sprints podcast.
Glad to be here.
You're the co-founder and I would say chief UX person over at UX.Rocks, which is a new company you've started. Can you tell me a little bit about what that company is about and the people that you work with and what you have planned for next year?
Our plan for the next year is, I can say it's pretty big. This year we focused on getting things together, discussing, setting some business goals and some a sort of business strategy. Our initial intention was to build some kind of agency or studio focused on mostly UX work and product design. But as the year went past, we discovered Agent Smart, and the idea popped in our head because we had I think 3 years of doing design sprints in our current company. When we saw what Agent Smart did, we thought, but we already know this. Why shouldn't we do this too? About, I think in August this year, we decided to focus our business on the design sprint.
So you had been doing them at Optymyze, correct?
Yeah.
You started doing design sprints the moment that the Blue Book came out by Jake Knapp. Once you had consumed that book, I'm assuming that the company said, wow, this is something we could probably move forward with. And it sounds like you've been doing design sprints for, you said 2-3 years, correct?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about what you're going to be doing at UX.Rocks, and when I looked you up on LinkedIn before, it looks like you have two partners that you're working with there. Is it
three actually?
Oh, it's going to be 3. Sorry. Is the focus of the company going to be primarily on doing design sprints? Is it going to be educating others on the process? What's the approach of the business in terms of how you're going to sell it to others?
Well, we actually want to go in both directions. We have one goal on the coaching and one goal, a big goal on offering services of doing design sprints in companies. The first one with the coaching, we already started with it somehow. We started doing presentations and workshops with the Lightning Decision Jet. We also plan to do some kind of course or boot camp maybe of design sprint next year in spring, I guess. And on the other side of doing it as a service, we already have one client right now, and we are in discussion with others. So things are going good in this direction too. So we plan to go in both ways, but it is pretty hard. There's a lot of stuff to do.
In terms of the amount of work you're doing internally to support the business?
Not necessarily to support it, but right now to promote it. Because in Romania, it's it's I could say a fresh, area of business. We people don't have um, a large knowledge of user experience, for example. Mostly because, as you may already know, we have here many outsourcing companies that are receiving, the design and the concept from the big company where the headquarter is,
Hmm.
and here the development part is done, so not much on the conceptualization part.
Your business can basically provide for that in your current market there in Romania. Like that's an avenue or a niche that your company can support.
Yeah, it is. We also want to promote among product designers, for example, or let me just give you an example of what we did in the last month. We did a lightning decision jam workshop in the product designers community here in Iași, in which our main goal was to change the mindset of Iași's product people towards innovation and creativity. This was our big idea, the topic of the lightning decision jam. So we basically know that here in Iași um, is a huge potential and opportunity regarding innovation and creativity. There are great people here working. We also have a startup accelerator. Sorry,
That's okay. Accelerator.
English is not, yeah, accelerator. Yeah, and also we know, being involved here in the community as in the last years, we also notice that there are many talented people and there are many interesting people that want to have interesting ideas and want to do more interesting stuff and to be innovative, to contribute also to our community here in Iași. But I think probably also it's a mentality coming from the past, that doesn't we don't have enough trust in our knowledge and in our potential, and I think this is a huge problem. But at least for the developers, for example, this mentality was left behind. Let's say it like this.
Hmm.
So yeah, they are more because foreign companies come and invested in Romania. They invested mostly in development because we have great universities here. We have great programmers, we have great developers, but the conceptualization part of building a product was basically left out. And this is and in this area we wanted to focus on. Started things already started to move here in Iași. So like I said, we also have some great startups that appeared in the last years. We basically want to promote, want to invest in this part of creating a good path to follow, and also giving an example to others, how to do things and how to be more confident in their knowledge of regarding the user experience and product design also. Yeah, well, we had this huge opportunity at Optymyze where we have the UX department based here in Iași, and we basically build it from scratch, and we've learned a lot during these last years, and this is why we also adopted the design sprints. Um, yeah, it's an entire history there because I have already 8 years working at Optymyze. 4 years ago, we switched we adopted the agile methodology, and also um, we started being more user oriented, and we started investigating and to learn about Linux design thinking, and also look for different methods which we could incorporate in the UX process to go with the agile methodology. And it was a kind of struggle because during the first years, because we needed to sync with the sprints, and this was pretty challenging.
You've done virtual design sprints. You did one with the event that I put on, but you also did another one with another group there in Romania. Can you go into that a bit?
We basically started this virtual sprint in Romania after we did the virtual design sprint with you and the other guys. It was quite inspiring for me, to do this here, and we could have just, because we were all based here, we could have just meet somewhere and do the sprint like in for real,
Mm-hmm.
on site. But given the full-time job that we all have, including our clients, because they also want to start, they have in mind to start a startup or something, to build an app. We decided to go with this approach of virtual design sprint, and with some insights from what we did on our virtual design sprint, we managed to put together a quite good and consistent design sprint. So we basically followed the same process. We use the Agile Smart structure. So we first of all we've met, with the guys. We understood their goals, what they want to do. It was a pretty new business direction that they were going into, that we didn't know too much about. Something about food and food safety. So I think I can say that we set up the big challenge together with them, to focus on the big idea that they wanted to validate, to see if their idea could work, especially here in Romania. We did a preparation exactly how we prepared the real time. We did it on real time board. We use real time board for this. So we prepared the board. We divided the sprint I think it took us uh, around 2 weeks to reach the prototype, so we extended a little because being in our free time and mostly in the afternoon, around 8, 9 o'clock p.m.
Well, tell me a little bit about the end result. I mean, the idea is to replicate what you had experienced in November for something that was real with a client.
Well, the end result, starting from the map, we decided to go in two ways, in two directions. And from the map forward, we did next exercises like sketching and concepts, and also the storyboarding and prototype into two directions. Right now we are at the stage of prototyping the first idea that resulted from the map. The first exercises, we decided to go with them virtually until the storyboarding. At the storyboard, we decided to meet each other and to do it because I think it's more easier and more constructive to meet and discuss on what goes on each step. Also, the user flow test and the storyboarding were done in the same session when we met each other. But until then, everything else was made virtually. I cannot say something about the end result because we don't really have it. We just have a storyboard for now. So we're just building the prototype.
Oh, I see.
We also right now we are exploring some approaches to test the prototype. So one option would be, classic stuff to find some persons that would be interesting to test this, that meets our constraints regarding the end user, the target. But we also planning of and thinking of doing real time prototyping, just going around and ask people to use this prototype and to tell us their insights on that, because it's a quite large topic idea is referring to. We could just stop the people on the street to ask them about this. Of course, whoever wants to, we will not so yeah, we will try, I think, the both approaches.
Looking forward into 2019, do you see yourself doing more virtual design sprints, more in-person design sprints, or maybe a combination of both?
I think we will go both ways. I mean, I understand the benefits of doing in office design sprint. Things get more personal. The involvement, I think, it's bigger, and it creates a better momentum that you can rely on during the sprint. We also want to go with the virtual sprint. Also, one reason would be that we are in Romania and it's harder, uh, to go in other countries to do. It's more costly mostly. So if we are at the start, it's harder for someone to call us in and to invest a lot of money, because we are being at the beginning. We don't yet have a consistent portfolio, that people could companies could rely on. So that's why we will also go with promoting the virtual sprint. I'm thinking of structure it better. We usually do a retrospective after a sprint or after a work we do, and that helps us a lot to improve. So yeah, I think we will go both direction. But I truly see the future in virtual design sprint, because being a global economy and right now with the internet, as you said it before, the internet connection is good in Romania, and we should take advantage of this also.
I agree. Looking into next year for your company, UX.Rocks, what in your mind would be a good year and what would be a fantastic year for you?
If we were talking again in December next year, I would hope to talk a lot about our great projects that we've been involved in, to have a consistent portfolio, and also I would also like to talk about very well structured virtual design sprint approach, and also we were trying to improve the current design sprint processes as they are right now on the market by exploring, because in my experience it doesn't always uh, it depends on the project, it depends on the people you have, it depends on a lot of things. So uh, if you do a design sprint, I think you should be flexible when using it. I will very much like to reach this step um, by the end of next year, and to know, to have some ideas and some maybe also some concrete situations in which you can approach design sprint in a certain way and use design sprint in a certain way.
Do you have any personal or professional goals that you want to achieve next year? You talked about writing more and putting more articles out. Is there anything else on the list?
Yeah, I want to write more articles. I'm not thinking about a book or something, because uh, it's a long way to go. But yeah, I started this year writing articles. I realized that I have a lot of thoughts that didn't get out there into the wild, to just share my thoughts, and my way of thinking. And I think this was until now obstacle for me, maybe, to expose my mind. I think I was closed in myself. I was very, I might say that why I was a very introverted person at a certain levels. With this experience, it was like, going outside my comfort zone, and the feedback was pretty good, and people encouraged me to write more. So I said, why not? You besides writing more about my thoughts and my experiences, um, I also want to uh, go deeper in improving, like I said, the design sprint, improving at least for us, our approach of doing design sprint from our experience, and also sharing it, of course, with others, and maybe who knows how it will turn out. Yeah, I could say that for the next year I'm planning to learn a lot of stuff. This year I've learned a lot of stuff, but As you learn, it seems like you know less. So
Well, whatever you do, be sure to write about it.
I wrote them. I write them in English. It helps me also, improve my English also in writing.
Okay. Well, if you ever need a proofreader, reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to look over your article.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I also I want to publish an article today or tomorrow about our Lighting Decision Jam workshop.
I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. So beyond that article that's coming up, if people wanted to find out more about UX.Rocks and what you currently do or anything that you're involved with, where would they go online?
We have a simple domain name, UX.Rocks. So it's the simplest way to get in touch. The website is still a work in progress because being focused on the sales, marketing, and established our process and everything. Our website remained a little behind, but hopefully this year we will launch it too. And we are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, UX.Rocks. You actually need to uh, spell it UX.Rocks because they don't allow dots in in social stuff.
Well, Mihai, thank you very much for joining the podcast, and hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and looking forward to seeing what you do next year.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me, and also Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
And a Happy New Year.
And that too. Yeah, both of them.
Thanks again for listening to the Dallas Design Sprints podcast. If you have a question or comment about what you heard on today's show, email me direct at robert@dallasdesignsprints.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Just do a Google search for Robert Scrobe or ask a friend and see if they know. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.